Hey, so this time we're talking about the Cancer child. Okay, so I believe I did Pisces and I did Scorpio, so I think I've done all the water signs at this point. And so we're thinking about the Cancer child. We're thinking about someone who is very naturally, someone who needs to connect to other people. When we're talking about a Cancer sign in general, we're talking about the moon, and thinking about mother, and we're thinking about being very reflective and being very able to see yourself in others and the ability to genuinely connect with other people. And though Libra, and I probably said this in the Libra child one, I don't remember, but Libra in general can have a lot of associations and Libra can relate to a lot of people. It's Cancer who can truly relate on an emotional level. And so as children, Cancers need that. And so what you'll usually find is that Cancer children cling to an adult or certain adults. They need nurturing. Okay. And so though many Cancer people relate a lot or need some type of association with their mother or female figure, it doesn't always have to be a female figure, but what I've seen a lot in Cancer children or even people that are Cancers as adults, they always have this longing that if they don't get something in their childhood, they long for that connection with someone. Okay. It's typically someone that will parent them, someone who will nurture them. And so a lot of them are always looking for that. If they don't receive that type of love and that nurturing, right, they always need that person, or they need, someone who they feel is going to be that parent figure, that mother figure or father figure. And so Cancer also puts a lot of, even as children, they put a lot of demands on the people that care for them. So like whether that's emotional, whether it's needs, whatever the case is, they kind of expect they're going to get certain things. And when they don't get those things, so Cancer might not always tell you what they need. They expect that, like, they are intuitively in tune with what you need. They expect that you're just going to know too. And so sometimes that can cause issues, obviously when you're older, but as a child, it's like, sometimes some of them can be kind of reluctant to share what they need. And so it ends up with them feeling resentful when they don't get what it is that they think they were supposed to get. You also have to watch out with Cancer because it is an emotional sign. It's cardinal emotions. And so cardinal means, like, Cancer's not afraid to let you know that you've upset them. They will show it. Or something in their actions will change. Whereas Scorpio can kind of bury it down deep and become moody, but it's more buried and you don't really know when it's going to come out. Pisces can kind of appear passive about a situation, but if they're upset in an underhanded way is how they get back at you. Like, it's a very subtle way they do it. Cancer is going to let you know immediately, usually how they feel, but it might not always be in words. And so it could be in actions. Their actions towards you change. How they talk to you changes. They might not want to talk to you anymore. Or, some of them might tell you that they're upset. But the thing is that Cancer children don't do a lot. They don't do a lot of direct accusations against you, but they're going to say that how they feel. You know what I mean? So it might not be like, you did this, you did that, I can't believe you did this. And they might not be like a Capricorn child who might try to challenge the adult or authority, but Cancer will let you know, like, I'm upset, I'm mad, I don't like that you did this. They're going to, like, but they're not going to come at you necessarily directly, because cardinal water is more about them filtering through their emotions, and they can go up and down. They can change quite frequently. But the thing that's really good about Cancer children is, like, their ability to be very empathetic is usually very genuine. And where, with a lot of kids, you have to kind of teach them that. A lot of Cancer children, especially if they're a Cancer child with other Cancer energies, it's not that hard. These are children who connect with other people, and so they might naturally have empathy when something happens bad to someone. These are kids who actually want to make you feel better when you're upset. It's not this, a lot of times people say things just because that's what society teaches us to say, right? You say, like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And I'm going to help you. And Cancer actually knows how to emotionally help people. And so this is a Cancer child with siblings. They're probably very, nurturing towards their siblings. Now, on the other hand, with nurturing, if a Cancer child does not get the nurture that they need, what can happen? You have to understand that pros and cons. And so even though, like, Cancer can be a delightful emotional energy, when not given what they need, when that nurturing is not there, or when they are something's absent. There's an emotional lack in a Cancer child or person's life. What's going to happen is you can get the bad side of Cancer, which is the manipulative Cancer. So you have the good side where like Cancer uses their emotions to genuinely connect with people and build relationship and make them feel better, and also through that learn a lot about themselves and how they, channel their emotions and how they can, authentically do these things. The manipulative side of Cancer is when they use emotions to manipulate other people. And so you have to watch out for that as well, especially with upbringing, this Cancer energy, because it's cardinal, so it's very strong. A lot of people need to stop thinking, water doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're very emotionally intelligent, and it acts out in very different ways. And so the Cancer child, Cancer person who is unevolved doesn't know how to channel those emotions in positive ways, in constructive ways. And so what can happen is, because they have all this emotional energy in them, whether they're male, female, or, whatever they identify with, what's going to happen is, if it's not taken care of, if it's not nurtured, if they don't learn how to channel that, they can become emotionally manipulative people, where they use their ability to get people invested in them for negative interactions, for negative situations, to use people. Okay, that's what you understand about strength. Strength is not just one way, right? Because a person who's emotionally intelligent is able to manipulate easier. They're able to get you by your feelings. They're able to get into you, right? In like a way where like you trust them. And so you really do have to understand that energy, whether you talk about children or adults. Is like, water is not weak, fire is not the only strong. It's the way what's going to be strong is different depending on the element and the sign, right? What is it that's strong? What is it that shows off as weakness, right? And so it's very important to like make sure that they channel their emotions in positive ways, because those emotions are there. And that's what you have to understand about any water energy. The emotions are there. And so when it looks like there's not an emotion in a person who has dominant water in their chart, there is. You just have to look under the surface to see how does this person actually react and respond to these things. Because, if you nurture them in the right way, this is a person who's going to be probably very, socially adept at helping others. They're empathetic. They can go into fields where they help other people. They genuinely connect. They have real relationships, not just like surface relationships. But if this Cancer energy person is not, taught to how to handle their emotions, how to handle feeling upset, how to handle feeling of disappointments, how to not take everything so personal. Cancer can view everything as a personal attack on them instead of something that's subjective, right? Objective, I'm sorry. So you have to understand that as well. Like, another sign kid might be like, Aquarius, you might be able to say something to, and they're like, okay, whatever. Whereas with Cancer, a lot of times they internalize things. And so, especially when you're thinking about children, you have to make sure that you are teaching them that, like, how to handle their emotions in a positive, healthy way, that it's okay to have emotions, but, how to delineate between like somebody intentionally trying to hurt you versus someone saying something that needs to be said, or someone saying something in a way you don't like, but how can you approach that person? How can you handle that situation so that way you're not feeling like someone is like, not listening to your feelings, but at the same time you're not, perceiving things only from an emotional lens. Just like Earth signs have to learn not to view things only from a logical lens if they want to be able to tap into other people and, have good relationships and things like that, right? And so, Cancer children need lots of love. Every kid does. I'm not saying any other sign does it. Every child needs love, but I mean, they need they need to know. Other signs can kind of get away with like, okay, my parents take care of me, that's good enough. But like, Cancer children need a little bit more love and nurture in terms of showing it. I guess that's what I mean. You have to show it. Every child needs love, right? You have to show it. You have to let them know that they're loved and they're cared for. And you also have to, as a parent, you have to make sure that they're channeling their emotions in ways that are not destructive. Because any energy can be destructive, but Cancer energy can be destructive on a different level because it's going to hit people. They're going to want to get back at people in emotional ways. You know what I mean? Or things like that. And so, if you teach the child how to handle these things, they'll be able to have a much better, a more, a stronger sense of themselves and how to channel and not let their emotions control them, but also how to let their emotional intelligence impact their ability to connect authentically with other people and use those influences to help them throughout their lives. All right. Thank you for watching.